call the meeting to order and call on Councilor Watson, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll.
Councilor Brown?
Here.
Councilor Weaver?
Here.
Councilor Broughton?
Here.
Councilor Watson?
Here.
Councilor Barton?
Here.
We have quorum to do business. Mayor Lovelace.
I'm here. Approval of the July 29, 2019 minutes.
Mayor, for motion to approve minutes of July 29th meeting.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Watson, second by Councilor Barton to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of July 29th. Is there any discussion, any changes to be made? Hearing none. Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Councilor Weaver?
Yes.
Councilor Broughton?
Yes.
Councilor Watson?
Yes.
Councilor Barton?
Yes.
Motion carries and the minutes are approved.
I'd like to welcome our visitors here today. Marcus, it's good to see you. Pastor, it's good to see you here today. You came for the air conditioning, I know. So I really appreciate everybody coming today and to be in support. Under public hearing, I call a public hearing. Well, I guess I don't actually have a public hearing. I'm announcing.
No, you are having the public hearing.
I'm announcing that we will be having a public hearing for an economic development grant of surplus property to Longleaf Machining. I'll close up public hearing. Is that what I needed to do?
Is anybody approaching?
Oh, you wanted to do the whole thing?
Yeah.
Start back over. Public hearing, is anybody here that is against an economic development grant of surplus property to Longleaf Machining that would like to speak? Is anyone here that would like to speak in favor of economic grant of surplus property to Longleaf Machining? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing. Now I have a public hearing for an economic development agreement with Sapphire Hospitality. Is there anyone here that wants to speak against that economic development agreement? Is there anyone here that would like to speak in favor of that economic development agreement? If not, I will close the public hearing. In a new business, the first item is approval of the accounts payable for July.
Motion to approve accounts payable for July 2019.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Brown, second by Councilor Broughton to approve the accounts payable for July 2019. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Councilor Weaver?
Yes.
Councilor Broughton?
Yes.
Councilor Watson?
Yes.
Councilor Barton?
Yes.
Motion carries and the accounts payable are approved.
The next item is approval of the fiscal year 2020 budget, ordinance number 19-0812, and I call on the city clerk or the chief financial officer, either one, to make a presentation.
I'm going to run through this really quickly. We have a slideshow, but let's hope it works. Thank you. This will be the budget for the upcoming year, which will start October 1. These are our departments. The ones that are in kind of the brown color are the general government. The ones in green are considered they stand-alone departments. And then, of course, finally, our reserve budget, which is kind of the city's wish list. For the next year, our projected revenue is as follows: $37,207,966.76 for the upcoming year. And then our expenses for the next year. which are less than our revenue, so that's always good. But our total expenses, we are budgeting around $36 million. Our general fund has a multitude of revenue that comes in. By far our biggest revenue is the sales tax through the city. And we don't see a whole lot of changes from this coming year to the next year. We have a few increases, but overall I think the revenue is roughly the same as last year. The same with general expenses. I don't see any large expenses for the general fund. Everything pretty much, thank you. Everything pretty much looks the same for this year. We of course have some increases just in salaries, which also increases your taxes and your retirement and things of that nature. And then these are our actual programs, which would be municipal court. As you can see, the changes for expenses are not very big from 19 to 20. This is our program management. This is what puts on our concerts downtown and the gospel and the luminaries and all of those events. We have a slight increase in some of those, but overall the expenses are not changed from year to year. This is our police department. Again, we have some decreases actually in expenses. They've updated, last year we updated the dispatch, so some of those building costs have come down. Obviously the things that again raise would be your salaries and wages, and which in turn affects your retirement taxes, etc. Our fire department, the major thing that I think we've done an increase on is the actual firefighting equipment. Some of our equipment for our firefighters have just kind of gone downhill over the years, and he is replacing those as they go out or as needed. So that's probably our biggest change for the fire department. Public Works, again, there's not a drastic difference there. We do have budgeted a vehicle that would probably be your biggest expense, just to replace one of the vehicles he has, and it has to be a larger vehicle to haul all of their equipment. Animal control, we really don't have a big change in animal control. This year, pretty much everything stayed the same. The same with community development. I think we added a few more dollars in the planning and zoning for Mr. Shep to go out and help with those fees. That's pretty much the only thing that's changed in community development. IT did a lot of work this year. They've actually updated our welcome sign message center, so that was a big overhaul, and they are also going to upgrade some of their equipment this coming year. So we did add an increase in that line, and the equipment isn't necessarily computers and printers, it's actually sometimes to our servers. The library underwent a huge overhaul this year and had a big update. So the biggest thing I think is their insurance, their building insurance will probably go up a little bit just because we've got some equipment there now that we didn't have. Our municipal cemetery, again, not many changes here. Everything pretty much has stayed the same with the exception of salaries. Our rec department, the biggest thing there, we have got some funds in there for some items at Sportsman Park that we want to see upgraded over the next year. And the arcade is a newer program we have, so we have that listed as well. And these are our parks. Our parks are getting used more and more, which is a good thing, but the more people you have in our parks, the more maintenance required. So we have up some of those line items so that we can have some maintenance in our parks. This is our traffic department. We have some line items in there for some traffic signals, which could also mean crosswalk signals, signage and things of that nature. And then our airport, we just did some upgrades to our airport this past year with the runway lights and the beacons, and I think we have a grant to do some more upgrades this year. And our gas department, again, this kind of hinges on what the price of gas is and how we can distribute that out, but this is a pretty big department, so there's lots of disbursements. We don't really have anything that's major different from year to year. The same with our sewer department. We've got some system maintenance fees that we added, some additional funds, just because our sewer system we are constantly having to upgrade and update that system. And our sanitation department. We really don't have any changes overall for that particular department. This is our reserve budget, which again is our wish list. Things on our wish list would be a new fire station. If funds become available, these are items that we would like to see happen in the next year. That doesn't mean we'll get to these items, but certainly this is our wish list if funding is available. So our summary is our estimated expenses and our estimated revenue show us a surplus of about $231,028 for the next year. And that's all I've got. If there's any questions, please feel free to let me know, counselors.
The only two things I'd like to say about that is, one, for the employees, there's a 2.5% raise in those numbers effective January the 1st. And in the reserve budget, we're looking at an additional splash pad. We know that that's $35,000. And we're looking at some other things for the kids that we haven't actually gotten the pricing in yet. So I don't want to announce until I know exactly what they'll cost, but we do have the pricing on a second splash pad that will be located in another place in Brewton. Any other questions? The chairman of the committee was Councilman Broughton, so I call him Councilman Broughton.
Mayor, the committee, myself, we met and we discussed the budget. We came up with a decision that it was pretty much standard budget that it would meet our requirements that we need. So at this time, I would like to introduce an ordinance, number 19-0812.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Broughton, second by Councilor Brown, to introduce ordinance number 19-0812 with the recommendation of the Budget Committee. Is there any discussion?
Who did the committee consist of?
Councilor Broughton, Councilor Brown, and Councilor Weaver. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Councilor Weaver?
Yes.
Councilor Broughton?
Yes.
Councilor Watson?
Yes.
Councilor Barton?
Yes.
Motion carries, and the ordinance number 19-0812 is introduced.
I'll make a motion for immediate consideration, ordinance number 19-0812.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Weaver, second by Councilor Brown, to immediately consider ordinance number 19-0812. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Councilor Weaver?
Yes.
Councilor Broughton?
Yes.
Councilor Watson?
Yes.
Councilor Barton?
Yes.
Mayor Lovelace?
Yes.
I'd like to make sure that we approve ordinance number 19-0812.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Broughton, second by Councilor Brown to approve ordinance number 19-0812. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Councilor Weaver?
Yes.
Councilor Broughton?
Yes.
Councilor Watson?
No.
Councilor Barton?
Yes.
Motion carries, and the ordinance number 19-0812 fiscal year budget 2020 is approved.
The next item is approval of the renewal contract with Revenue Recovery Services Agreement, Resolution Number 19-0812. You got that resolution?
Yes.
Mayor, the motion we approve resolution number 19-0812.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Watson, second by Counselor Barton, to approve resolution number 19-0812. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Counselor Weaver?
Yes.
Counselor Broughton?
Yes.
Counselor Watson?
Yes.
Counselor Barton?
Yes.
Motion carries, and the resolution to approve the renewal of Avenu Insights and Analytics service contract is approved.
Next item is a resolution for the relocation of Provalus office buildings, resolution number 19-0812-1.
Motion to approve resolution number 19-0812-1.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Brown, second by Counselor Barton, to approve resolution number 19-0812-1. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Counselor Weaver?
Yes.
Counselor Broughton?
Yes.
Counselor Watson?
Yes.
Counselor Barton?
Yes.
Motion carries, and the resolution to approve relocation of the Provalus Project office buildings is approved.
Next item is to approve the authorization of Provalus Project Professional Services Agreement, resolution number 19-0812-1.
Mayor, make a motion to approve resolution number 19-0812-2.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Broughton, second by Counselor Brown, to approve resolution number 19-0812-2. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Counselor Weaver?
Yes.
Counselor Broughton?
Yes.
Counselor Watson?
Yes.
Counselor Barton?
Yes.
Motion carries, and the resolution to authorize the mayor to execute engineering, architectural, construction management, and other professional services agreements is approved.
The next item, we had a housing board member whose term was up for renewal, so we appointed a nominating committee of Councilors Brown and Broughton, and I'll call on Councilor Brown.
We'd like to make a recommendation for Mr. Billy Earl Cook to maintain that position.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Brown, second by Counselor Broughton, to approve Billy Earl Cook as for another term as a housing board member, actually, I believe it's chairman. Is there any discussion?
Second.
Hearing.
Recommended, you want to say?
Second.
Did it, okay. The motion was by Counselor Brown, second by Counselor Broughton. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Counselor Weaver?
Yes.
Counselor Broughton?
Yes.
Counselor Watson?
Yes.
Counselor Barton?
Yes.
Motion carries, and Billy R. Cook is reapproved for another term.
I just wanted to make an announcement. Just wanted to read something. It's on Connie Baggett. Connie has been nominated for the 2019 American Bloom Dwight Lund Community Champion Award. She was nominated by the people of Brewton because she had demonstrated a vision of selflessness, commitment to moving our community forward. This honor recognizes an individual who exemplifies community leadership through actions that reflect the mission of the AIB organization. All nominees will be recognized on Thursday evening, October the 3rd, during the AIB Symposium and Awards, and the winner will be announced on Saturday, October the 5th. So I just want to say congratulations to Connie for being nominated for a national award.
Mayor, I have an announcement. I'd like to come behind Marcus if possible.
Go ahead.
I'll come behind Marcus. If
Oh, he's on here.
I'm going to come behind him, though.
Oh, you want to come behind him?
Yes.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
Next item is, I had been talking with Marcus Hall about the STEM program that he puts on at, well, numerous places, but he does it at the Johnny L. Fisher Center. We've been, this council's been expanding programs for our kids, and this is one of those programs that deserves our attention. Now, what we have been talking about is that we would try to raise the funds in the community and see if we can do it on an annual basis to have a full-time program, not just a few days, but a full-time program. This year, one of the things that they did, they went to Atlanta, and I thought that was well received by everybody that went on that trip. So I asked Marcus to come to the council meeting today and do a presentation so that if anybody doesn't know what he does or got questions about it, he would be here to answer them and show us. Turn the floor to you.
Good evening. You all know me, I'm Marcus Hall. I'm originally from Brewton. I graduated from T.R. Mill in 1979. A lot of the faces I do know, and after 40 years of with the Department of Defense as a mechanical engineer, I've retired, come back home, and my idea is to invest in the community. I've done this now for the last 5 years, even before I moved here. We invested a lot of our money and time, me and my wife, of coming back home to help. I grew up here. I know what it's like, but you don't know what you don't know. So my time is to invest in our kids, all of our kids, and give them opportunities. And I think if you follow me over the last 5 years, the investment and the opportunities we've given our kids, even the scholarships and getting them in engineering programs have been invested. So what I'll do today is give you a little information. You can ask me any questions you want of where we're going, how we got there, and what our investment in the kids are, okay? And if you don't mind, I'll sit so everyone can see the board there, all right? So the next slide, as you can see, it kind of gives you an idea of STEM. So when someone is talking about STEM, they're talking in the science, technology, engineering, mathematics area. Sometimes you hear the term STEAM, and they're adding A in for liberal arts. So we are expanding into the arts. And as Mayor Lovelace mentioned, in the art side, when we took the kids to Atlanta, we actually took them to an art museum, which is again owned by another one of our local group guys, George Monroe. So you hear about Paul and Monroe, so George Monroe is my brother-in-law. And the kids really got into the dancing part of that and the actual art part. You probably have seen some of the 3D art in which they do a lot of the sawdust and glue, which is a patent named by George Monroe. So our kids are getting first-hand experience at patenting, marketing, actually using that patent within learning. So they're really learning the idea behind it, the mathematical and science behind it. So whenever they mention these STEM or STEAM, that's what they're talking about: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. To actually define, STEM is for everyone. It looks at different ways, but in the norm, they're talking about degrees in chemistry, computer science, information technology, engineering, mathematical sciences. So it's more of the technical fields and with a lot of the ways in which our world is going and doing that type of thing. So when they're defining STEM, those are the areas in which they're defining it in. If you truly go across and look at the facts, and I've highlighted the main points here, if you look at the future jobs that are looking at, even in the ones like we're talking about this problem with STEAM, they're projected to grow twice as quickly as jobs in other fields. So whether we want to or not, in order for us to be a part of this new technical world, we got to get our kids interested in a STEM field. As you can see, out of the 20 fastest growing occupations, 15 of them are going to require math and science. You got to be prepared. There's no difference about it. If you watch a kid and how they deal with it, there's a mathematical algorithm that they're learning, and what we have to do is hone in on that to let them understand. Maybe you have the talent, you just got to put that talent where it needs to be. One of the analysis that they're doing, they're really saying that out of 6 STEM graduates in the 9th grades that we have now, only 6 out of 100 are prepared to go into that field. So we have to produce ourselves and produce our own. One of the things you're looking at, if you ever call on the phone or ask for help, all of our work in the U.S. is outsourced, it's not insourced. So we got to grow our own within internally, which is, even if you're looking at a small town of Brewton, educating our kids on, hey, this is the way of the future, we want to give you that opportunity, and here's a baseline which we can start to kind of hone those skills in. So that gives you some similar facts of the way the world is going and what we need to be doing as a community in order to make our kids more adaptable and more productive in the working world as we go along. So how do we get our child started? Well, we do the normal things of reading books, got PC, internet. But the main thing that we have to do is get them involved into that critical thinking, which is going to be events that they get exposed to and after-school programs. And when I say after-school programs, of truly learning the theory behind math. Some of the things that I learned when I was in high school here with Miss Andrews of truly learning not just how to do 2 plus 2, but why is it 2 plus 2, and understand the theory behind it. So that's one of the things that we're focusing on here. So what they call Monroe STEM, which we're actually licensed on, We Are Tech. So we do community events. We get involved with the kids in the sense of, let's say from even a spaghetti bridge. I've actually taught the kids how to take a spaghetti bridge and build and understand the strength, and they relate that back to, say, most of them in sports, or make sure they understand the concept behind it when they go into school. We got a lot of them to join and participate in various STEM programs. Right now, we meet every 3rd Saturday, no matter what. More often, we'll take them on trips, but every 3rd Saturday, we have a set program that teaches them, hey, this is what this is behind, and get ideas from the kids of what is it they want to know, and I go out and reach out and say, okay, what is it they're teaching them in school to relate it back to the STEM program. One of the things we do is scholarship opportunities. We prepare the kids in the sense of looking at the ACT, looking at, hey, this is what we're required in order for you to get into college, and to get into some sort of craft or apprenticeship. We're not necessarily focusing on college itself, but making sure they have some sort of skill set to where even in automotive, we bring in automotive guys, brick masonry, just to let them know you have to have a craft to do a productive service to make sure, hey, we're increasing our network as we live. A key thing that we want to branch off from STEM is providing mentoring and tutoring to the students. It appalled me when I talked to one of the parents and they said there was something about 3rd grade students wasn't able to do what was required. And that bothers me a lot. So one of the things we really got to focus on here is mentoring and tutoring, not just going to class, but truly making them understand, like I said earlier, the theory behind it. What is math? What is going on within that math? And how it relates back to everyday life to where they understand again when they're taking the test and just calm down and say, hey, just relate it back to the things we are teaching you. Networking events, one of the key things of getting funds is going to networking events and them understanding the contacts. Like right now, we're planning the 21st of September. I have a buddy that's the athletic director in over recruiting at Fort Valley State. So we're trying to get the kids there, and he's going to have me sponsor bringing the kids there to get them exposure to that. So we're networking outside of these networking events to let them know, hey, this is what we're doing in our community, a small town Brewton. Bring them out and look what we can offer. We're not asking you to just give us something. Look what we're bringing to the table. Smart kids that are willing to learn and will represent you well and be a productive citizen at your school. So we also do seminars and webinars, like I said, the sessions on Saturdays, and we have prepared for a college and a career. So we're steadily focusing on that. I guess one of the stories I always try to tell folks, they're key folks, and I know this will work. If you remember Blake Davis, Ashley Samuel, Akeem Martin, all of them from here. But we got to be able to pull them up, and they're all in an engineering math field right now. Me being down in Panama City, if you ever noticed, I hired them all from here, from Brewton. And now they're productive all over the world, and they're doing the same thing. So it's more they understand and helping understand and guide them into the right field, and they're willing to help others. So, like I said, what can we offer? Right now, the STEM sessions. We've been doing that for 5 years. They're productive. We have a consistent group. During football season, of course, it goes down a little. But we can have anywhere from 50 up to 100 kids on a Saturday. And I turn no one away. It's all free. And we make sure the kids have the best of the best. The funding that is given to it from our supporters, 90% of it goes toward making sure whatever we're doing, every kid has a learning setup to understand. And we don't leave until every kid understands. The younger kids, even some real young, we just ask the parents to stay, but we make sure they're learning something on that Saturday. So what we are trying to do, as Mayor Lovelace mentioned, is enhance that. So we're looking at this after-school enrichment, which is designed for Monday through Thursday, from 5 to 7, set up at the location right now, the John L. Fisher Center, to where we are tutoring in these courses that they have. So if it takes longer to find, but this is just a set model that we're looking at and say, okay, what is required? What do you study? And not wait until an exam, but an everyday thing where we're teaching them this repetitive motion. So when they get to a project or get ready to do their homework or do testing, it's already ingrained with them. So we have to do it every day, day in, day out, just like a job, to where it just become a natural thing. So this after-school enrichment that we're setting up, this is what we want to do. We will hire tutors. You know, it won't just be me and my wife. It'll be tutors that bring in, and the tutors will review the key concepts. We'll do all the pre-work that's with it. So it'll help strengthen their focus and make sure at the end that, hey, we all have a goal of where we want to go. This is kind of the budget that I set up. It just gives everything from the cost that I set up. The one I didn't, like the travel, and I guess one of the key things in there that we have to understand is we've got to get them to the location. So one of the keys to transportation to where, you know, get in the van and have locations, pick the kids up, take them there, and get them back home. A lot of the parents work and they might not be able to make it. So my focus is to make sure it's still a repetitive thing no matter what. We pick them up, do the what we're going to do on the enrichment side and get them back. So that was one of the key things I want to bring out. The rest of it is just making sure I have the right staff to do it justice for the kids, so they will be in a learning environment, and there's no influence that's keeping them away from not having an environment of wanting to learn. And I think that's it. That's all I have. Any questions, comments?
One question.
Yes, sir.
What's the age bracket? Do you have an age bracket?
No, sir. That's one thing we try not to do. We do say 8 to 12, but we have taken them younger, and we've actually used college students. Matter of fact, a lot of the college students end up being good mentors for work with this. And they come to learn, so the more we get involved as a whole community from that whole range, then the more we can reach out to them. Yes, sir. Any more questions?
You're going to still use college student in this enrichment thing you got to?
Yes, ma'am. Part of the tutor, what we want to do, as you know, you probably didn't see it, ma'am. We have a cost in there for tutors, for extra tutors, so yes, ma'am, we use, that would be a part-time job for college students to come in and help us tutor the kids.
Y'all like the retired teachers help you?
We would take anyone and we'll fit it within that range, so yes, ma'am. We would put an announcement and say, hey, we're looking for tutors, this is what it is, and, you know, come on a volunteer basis, but we do want to have a set commitment. like anything else. If you got a set commitment, they're gonna show up. If you're gonna pay me $10, they're gonna show up on time. If you volunteer, you might show up or you won't. No, so I gotta have that basis where when the kids show up, I gotta have the folks there. And that commitment comes with the cost. Exactly. So that's why I put a small budget in there for that.
Programs like the STEM program are essential if we're going to help our children move forward in this new economy. Recently, the city installed fiber optic internet into the Fisher Center with 10 computers set up there. It's free, not just for the children, for adults too, but it's almost gotten, if you don't have a computer and you don't have high-speed internet, you can't hardly operate. And so we've been putting the internet in all our parks, but now we're trying to go with fiber optic internet and with the equipment being there also. So take advantage of that. Marcus, I appreciate you coming today and going over that. This has been a great program that he has been doing so far, and I hope that we can fulfill this dream he and I have to move it into a full-time program for the city. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
I call on Councilman Watson.
Thank you, Mayor. Got a couple of statements. I don't think about for showing up this afternoon, but as for the mayor and the council, and we're here this afternoon to voice our concerns. One of the concerns is Sowell Road. It could be a concern, it could be a question, is what is the resolution to the street repair that has taken well over a year? The project does not appear to be anywhere close to being finished. We understand there are drainage problems, and the state stopped the work until it was corrected. To my knowledge, that was corrected, yet there has not been any work on Sowell Road for weeks. I was told by one of the residents that live in the area that the drainage problem still exists. So the question is there still a drainage problem? This is an eyesore not only for the community, but for anyone that travels Sowell Road. In addition, there are problems with dust in their homes. When it rains, it becomes a muddy mess. Due to the barricades and the need of people to have access to Brook Street, a person's property there in the corner has become a thoroughfare, leaving tire tracks encircling his whole individual property. There are several churches on Sowell Road, and the cemetery, which is affected by the prolonged project. Parking is also a big issue during funerals. Mayor and council, your efforts are really truly appreciated, but now the community is looking for a resolution to this lengthy paving project. It really looks horrible on Sowell Road. It has been going on for too long. And again, and not to say who did what or why, but we're now looking for the mayor and council for a solution to this problem and estimate time of completion as soon as possible. Jones Road. Family on Jones Road have been asked for paving for some time now. Some work was done in the past on Jones Road to make the road better, but it did not hold up. There's only a few homes in the area, but this is a city road. Jones Road must be part of the Relocation project of Brewton. After all, this is a Brewton community as well. The road is a mess when it rains. There are mud holes, which breed mosquitoes, also washing. The road is very dark and poses safety concerns. We're asking for a plan to provide paving and street lighting to address this problem. Youth activities. To bring it back to the minds of the mayor and council, Dogwoods Hill can't accommodate all the kids of the city. The YMCA swimming lesson was great for those who want to participate, as well as horseback riding and riding lessons, but that does not take the place of giving the kids something to do at the parents' own leisure. John F. Fisher's Community Center will serve as a great resource in addition for basketball, swimming, and etc. We would like to see some serious networking with the John F. Fisher Board and the community to see how the John F. Fisher grounds can be beneficial to this community and to this city. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, I'll try to answer some of those, although I've already answered them all or given a report to the entire council. There's no, any member of the council could answer these questions. But as far as Sowell Road, that's not a City of Brewton project. So we have no control over that project. That's a state of Alabama project. What we have been trying to do is push the state of Alabama to complete a project that has been going on way past what I think any of us ever dreamed would take. Sort of like that bridge that's sitting over there in Riverview. That's a state of Alabama bridge is just sitting there. I don't know when that'll ever be put to use, but it's a real shame. So we have had a number of meetings with our state representative and our state senator, and with the engineer for the project, and with the Alabama Department of Transportation, expressing the concerns that Councilor Watson just read. The head of this region just retired, and so we have a meeting set for Friday for two things, with the top 5 people from the Department of Transportation and the engineer, to address Highway 31, which is a state highway, which for the last 5 years has been rated as the worst road in this entire district. But for some reason, other legislators have been able to get their projects moved ahead of that project. And we're asking the question, how can you have the worst one for 5 straight years and not, that's just a maintenance project. It's not, we're not adding new lanes or anything else. We just want it paved. They're meeting before the Friday meeting with the contractor on Sowell Road to try to push that contractor to finish this job. Now, I think I've been told every date of every month for the last 2 years of when it was going to be finished. The date I have now is to be finished in October. For the last 2 weeks, though, there wasn't a soul out there working. I called the engineer and said, you know, we're driving up that road and there's nobody working out there. What's the deal? He said, in their contract that they have with the state settles up on overage days after the contract is over, which seems sort of crazy to me when you think about it. I can be 100 days over, and they're not going to do anything until after we're finished with the road. It makes no sense to me at all. If it was a city project, y'all seen us pave city streets. We knock a street out in just a few days. Now, I know we had problems with drainage, and that was a major problem. That was a $300,000 problem down at the cemetery, and I think it was a $150,000 problem at the intersection of Martin Luther King and Sowell. But those problems were addressed and fixed and been finished. So all we can do, the next step above going to the director of the highway department is talk directly to the governor. I don't really know anybody else to go to. It's not, I say it's not our project, so it's not I can't fire the contractor, I can't, all we can do is ask questions and push our elected representatives to pull whatever strings they can pull. I suggest you do the same. Any help y'all can help us to move them forward would be most appreciated. About Jones Road we worked on, I don't remember the exact date, probably 4 or 5 years ago. And then Councilman Watson came to me about a month or 2 ago and wanted to add Jones Road to the paving list. Now, obviously there are a number of roads like Lyles Boulevard, and there's just a number of roads throughout the city that are already on that paving list. I told Councilor Watson that we would put Jones Road on that list, so there'll be a point in time when that road will get, its turn will come up. If you take the street in front of my own house, my whole life, up until about I became mayor, and it didn't really have anything to do with me, that street didn't get paved for 60 years. So I think you would have found most of the streets in Brewton just took way too long, and that's when we started a paving program. So there is a new program out that starts next year through the state. We will be applying for additional funds. We put our city funds in these paving projects, but we also look for grants. And we're already applying for about 10 roads in this first grant thing through. It's a new program. It doesn't have the kind of money the first program had in it, but it does have money in it. So we're continually looking for funding methods so that the citizens don't have to write a check for everything. We've got a bridge that the city owns that goes to East Brewton that was built for log trucks to make it easier for them to turn to go to T.R. Miller. That's over $1 million to replace that bridge, and it's coming up in the next few years. So obviously, we are trying to find a grant for to replace that bridge, because that's not something normally the city should fund. Maybe a sawmill should fund it, but not the city. So there are numerous paving projects and drainage projects that are on our list. When we were paving, we had to stop until we finished Sowell Road, because there is a percentage of that road that we have to pay for. The problem with that percentage is the way we figure what our percentage that we owe on that road, it's a little over $200,000. What ALDOT last said that our percentage was a little over $50,000. Well, of course, we'd be tickled to death if ALDOT sends us a bill for $50,000 versus $200,000. But until they're finished, we don't know. We think our numbers are right, but I hope their numbers are right. So there's enough of these problems. There's a drainage problem, a project for downtown that's been on the list for a number of years, and that's a $4 million drainage project for downtown. So these infrastructure things that we work on, we just got a $700-something thousand grant for the airport, but trying to fund all this without grants would be impossible. The problem is when you apply for a grant, you're working underneath somebody else's direction. In this case, for Sowell Road, it's the Alabama Department of Transportation. So while we appreciate the road, we certainly don't appreciate the time frame. But maybe this week, these meetings that are coming up will catch somebody's attention enough to move this project forward. If you're as tired of it as I am, then you're sick of it. I think we're all sick of it. So that's where we stand on those projects.
So do we need
Yes,
to flood the senator with emails and what have you?
Just one question, Mayor.
Mm-hmm.
If we have a problem on Side Road, what can we do to help you and help the city make a change on Side Road? How can we help legislative? We need to get a group together. We need to get petitions.
There's two elected officials, which is Alan Baker, your state representative, and Greg Albritton, your state senator.
Okay.
They're at the state level, and this is a state job. The state has also formed a new transportation committee over all the roads. There's only going to be 14 people on that committee, and both Senator Albritton and Senator Baker are on that committee, so they will end up having a lot of influence.
Okay. When do they meet? Where do they meet? When can we show up?
That's right. And they don't meet. They don't have meetings that I know of on a regular basis anywhere. I mean, I just don't.
Okay, so what you're saying, we need to go to our representatives and talk to them and get with them. That's fine. I know.
I'd be happy to get an email address to you or a mailing address, which is on the web.
I know those two, so what we can do is probably get with them. With your support, and with the council's support, we can get with them and show them that, hey, we need to have this done, because seriously, right there, just across from the cemetery And Rankin, there's a big, now they work today, but that was a big opening right there. And you're talking about dangerous to kids. What's gonna happen if a child go there and fall in? You know, I work down that way, cutting grass in the cemetery, try to keep it up. And there's a lot of danger down there. Things are not covered up.
The last time they had a state election, I told both of them that the biggest issue in Brewton was Sowell Road. As far as I know, it wasn't addressed at all. And so, you know, we've spent a great amount of time trying to catch somebody's attention that we don't need our projects put off, and we don't need to have, this particular contractor, I don't understand at all. If I got equipment and men, I said, just keep moving. You know, finish the project and let's go on to something.
One of the reasons they haven't been moving because they've been out on 113.
Is that what he's working on?
Yeah, he's been working on 113, that's Matt Arrington, he's been working on 113, that's where you see all the asphalt down there in
Sounds like
Plumpton.
he overbid too many jobs.
Yeah,
He's a little
he's
shorthanded.
spread out, and he just, like I said, he just come back today.
Yeah.
And they could finish that project and move on. And but as far as representatives, we can get people together in support of that with you, with your help.
Okay. If you go down to the courthouse, to the annex building, on the side that faces City Park, go to the top of those steps, go 2 doors down, look to your right, there's Alan Baker's office.
Okay, I know where.
Not, but seriously, we don't need to write letters. Go knock on his door, go see this secretary, say, we got a problem.
Okay.
Because I'm going to see him. We need to go down and talk to Alan Baker.
Not I, but we.
That's again.
We can go down.
We need to go.
Not just
But
I,
the mayor made a
we can
statement.
go down and talk to Mr. Baker and talk to, everyone we need to talk to and get their support, let them know the city, and we're back in the city behind, this is something we gotta have done in case someone get injured down there, because cars, no matter what you say, cars still try to go through there.
I just, it's hard for me to fathom how long this has taken.
It is.
You know, and because we have a good bit of experience, and you've seen it, how long it takes to pave a road.
Yeah, I did.
And this
Yeah.
has been going on, I think I could have paved
Too
Brewton
long.
3 or 4 times.
Sure. And we'll do that part, and I'll also get in touch with Matt and
Right.
see what's sold up. Thank you.
So, but that's a good idea to actually knock on his office door.
Mr. Jones got a question.
Yeah.
Mr. Jones has a question, man.
Yes, sir.
I would just like to ask one of the questions about Jones Road. You say y'all might work, the Jones Road been messed up 60 years along. So what we gonna do about that?
Right.
And Jones Road, they come out there, they put all that dust on Jones Road. And the car go up the road, you can't even see a car behind you because there's so much dust. And you wash your car a few minutes, so what good is doing? Who would want to stay on the road like that time? Can't keep your car clean 3 minutes. Who want to, you know, just like all that dust going in your car, going in people's lungs too. You know, so Jones Road been messed up for years, and
Yeah, it's interesting to me.
And me and my wife, we took our money out of our pocket, $500 to put rocks right there in front of the house, right in the road, hitting all them big mud holes. And they've been talking about, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and nobody done nothing yet. How would you like to stay on the road like that? I'm talking about you. How would you like that?
Sure. I mean, I agree. Here's what I can say about Jones Road. You know, when we get a request to do something, we try to honor that request. On Jones Road, the request was to do it just like it is now, to put the rocks, put the dirt. That's what we did. We spent a good bit of money, and then we heard back from the people that live there that rode horses.
They just messed it up. That's what they done. That's all they done, was mess it up.
Well, so now they've come back and said, if we'd paved it at that time, while we had the equipment there, it would have been better. But anyway, they've come back now and wanting it paved, and we're gonna oblige them and pave it. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
My question is, I need to ask, you said earlier that they are finished with the drainage problem. If they finished with the drainage problem, where's the water? The water's still there, where the water's supposed to be going? In my front yard, every time it rains, just like the other day, water halfway the door and stink, sit out there. All those big holes right there by my house. And my house is just a through driveway for everybody now. And dust, ain't concerned about dust, like when the sewer was spilling up out the road for the 3 days, my house was stinking. I couldn't even hardly stay in my own house. I got to run around. Then the last meeting we had, they said that you said the problem was gonna be fixed by all the new graders. Ain't nothing yet.
You mean it was fixed, but it's still?
No, you said it was the drainage back, the first we were saying about the pipe run through the cemetery or whatever. So they've been working on that same whole, what, a year?
Well, that's that same contractor for Sowell Road, and that's all part of that project.
But when we met at the church down there, in 3 or 4 months, everything's supposed to be up to par. Still, and get Sowell Road getting better. Sowell Road done got a hell of a lot worse. Holes everywhere. I'm scared to go out, everywhere go out my yard when the things out there, my whole little house shake. They woke me up. When 3 weeks ago when they was out there, like my little house finna go through the ground. So I just wanna, some understanding. I ain't got nowhere to go, but I'm tired of the smell, the dust, everything. My house look like a little old black little house on the pier somewhere.
Well, I certainly agree with you, and I agree with Councilor Watson, and maybe you would want to go with them to see Representative Baker and voice those concerns so he can pass that and try to get something done. We're working just as hard as we can. We've got them coming this week. Hopefully that is going to help, but I know it helps the more you talk to that representative.
Well, like the city we pay tax too, don't none of the tax, our tax money go toward none of this, or help with none of this or nothing?
Well, this isn't a city job, this is a state job. So it's not a job we have any control over, but we, like you, pay state taxes, and the people that we elect on the state level need to hear our concerns, and the people that on our street need to
last time that sewer was spilling up out there, and I had a concern about it. Some of them in the city or whatever act like I had committed murder because I asked questions. I wanted my water test and stuff, and I was like, just like you, that's where I felt. They ain't really said out their mouth, but that's the impression that was left up on me. So I'd be concerned just like everybody else. You don't have to live over there. Don't none of y'all have to live over there. We live over there. And we've been getting these same problems. We've been getting these same answers. We've been getting these same, gonna be fixed. They've been over a year. Before they started on Sowell Road, he was halfway decent. Sowell Road ain't decent no more.
Well,
and then like he was saying, like Bo was saying about the big hole, why they gonna leave old kid, leave old big gully hole down there? Somebody fall in there, they out our pocket. What the city be, we'll have to run and beg somebody at the city just to do anything. We'll be lucky if we get a dollar store flour from the city. That's the City of Brewton.
Well, I wish I could say the city could work on it, but
that's the City of Brewton.
But it would help.
And like if that's a state problem, they started when they first started on Sowell Road. They worked over there on Bell, put new sewer, new pavement in 2 weeks. Sowell Road was still tore up and still the same. So what the difference between Belvoir, Evergreen, and Sowell Road?
Belvoir and Evergreen are city projects?
That's what I'm saying. They the city project.
And this is a state
we started, but Sowell Road was a city project first. How did they stop doing Sowell Road and skip from Sowell Road to Belleville and Evergreen? They did Belleville Street and Evergreen Street within 2 weeks, and then plus they put down new pipes up there. We went that way all the time. That project started, Side Road started
Well, you
well
can see the difference
before.
between when the city does something and when the state does something, and it gets worse when it's a
What I'm
federal
asking
thing.
is the stay over Belvoir and Side Road, I meant to say Belvoir and Evergreen. Is they the same, stay over, just like over Side Road? That's what I'm asking.
No, that was
Ms. Rudolph, but-
city money.
What, I see the question you're asking is, okay, the city paved Evergreen Avenue, they paved Bevel, they paved Lovelace, they paved Conley, but when we got on the side road, we couldn't afford to pay, we got an A-trip, but we went through the state and got it funded through the state. All right, so the state control what goes on, it's a city street, but the state money being used on the street, so the state controlling what goes on with how it's done. And that's where we are now. But as far as Evergreen and Bevel, those was a city-paid job, but the city just paid for it.
That's what I was trying to
Yes,
find
ma'am.
out. What
Yes,
they
ma'am.
said
Yeah,
tonight.
it's a little different.
Most all the streets that were behind Sowell, further west, that we paved, those were all paved by the city. Those streets got all paved in a hurry. It's just that Sowell, which is a state job,
It's causing a problem.
it's just taking forever. It's ridiculous.
So why did you switch it from a city to a state?
Oh, no, it wasn't switched. Ms. Rudolph said that she asked a question, she thought it was switched over, but it wasn't. It never was switched. When we got the money on Side Road, it ever came through a trip job, because it was so long. Keep in mind, if it went like it's supposed to have went, supposed to have, we were gonna go in there, and it's gonna be a whole brand new look down Side Road, even down to the curb and the sidewalk, shrubbery. But when we got started, Matt, like Bo was saying, he got there, they started going up Side Road, taking stuff down. All right, when they found out a problem back at the cemetery with the drainage, the state said, wait a minute, y'all don't go no further till y'all fix this. That's why a lot of them holes are still open. All right, the mayor did talk to Arrington and Russell, they went in and fixed some of those little manholes, they put some stuff around them. It was worse than that before then. But in the mayor's defense, then with the county, if a state come in and say this how the job gonna be ran, it's how it's gonna be ran. We can go talk to the representatives or talk to the governor. Anybody got any more question for the mayor?
I got a question for the Jones Road. I want to know how much it's going to be for y'all to do the Jones Road.
I'm sorry, what now?
The blacktop the Jones Road, cause you told me, you and him told me that y'all was going to get me, cause I came up here as soon as it happened about Jones Road. My kids can't even ride a bicycle down that road.
Are you asking me when is it
Yes,
gonna
when
get
could
paid?
y'all do something about it? Cause that's just pitiful. Cause y'all told me, I came up to your office, me and, I don't know, it's about Ray him, and we came up here and talked to you, and I told you, I was making $70,000 off of my horses, racing horses, coming down that road. Now I ain't making 20. Cause y'all put them train track rocks on that road. It ain't nothing, who live down the road with train track rocks? Nobody in the country live down the road with train track rocks on it. That's just pitiful. You can ask the train track people, railroad crossing. They said that don't even supposed to be on the road. They eat your brakes up. That dust eat all your brakes up on your truck. I had to put 3 sets of brakes on my car. You know what I'm saying? That's just pitiful. And then you said, if I get a spot to put some dirt up, you said you'll send me 4 loads of dirt. I called and asked for some dirt. Nobody don't even know when they can give me the dirt. I asked him, when could I get some dirt? Nobody said they was going to give me the dirt for the
dirt to go where?
Go on that track I was telling you about. Me and Barry came up here and talked to you. And you told me you would give me 4 loads of dirt to put on my track if I can do it.
Calm down. Is this dirt for the road itself?
No, you told me. This is what you told me. Cause y'all to put them rocks on that road, and I was doing that 10 years. That was like grandfathered in, and that road was grandfathered in as being dirt road. I was doing that for a living. That's my living, work racing horses.
Right.
Now, I can't even go down that road. I done broke a horse down, a $50,000 horse that I can't even do nothing with. He in the pasture back there.
Right, are you asking me,
I'm asking you, when y'all can do something about that road, and when could I get that dirt that you promised me?
the dirt's not a problem.
Okay, could I get it tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
I'll be up here tomorrow.
Now, but the question about the dirt.
Yes.
Is it has to be on public property.
Well, then, you can set it on the public property. I got public property. You can put it out there on public property. It ain't gonna be no problem. I can get it moved.
Well, no, I can't give dirt for you to put on your property. It only can go on public property.
Well, then, we can put, listen, it's another spot. If you go down the Jones Quarter Road, everybody go down the Jones Quarter Road, they'll see, it look like another road, cause since it's been so messed up, I don't even ride on that side of the road where them rocks at. I ride on the other side, where I done made a whole nother road. You can put it right down there. It ain't no excuse. You can put it right down that side of the road, and we'll be fine.
Got a road there.
You can go down there. I wish I had a video. I had my phone, I'd show it to you. I can show you all this. It's just pitiful. Now, it just burns me up that folks say stuff and then they don't do nothing.
Well, are you looking at me as I'm the one that asked to have that?
No, I ain't picking nobody.
Right.
Though you on the board. You up there, I'm looking at all y'all.
Right.
That's how I'm looking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because all y'all had to say yes when it got done.
Right.
And first thing y'all for the shade came down that road and looked down that road and said, nah, we can't have this. These train track rock this big. How can the world, you can't drive, I wish you can walk down there. I guarantee you can't even walk down there 5 miles. I bet you can't walk 5 miles down there.
If you ask me if I disagree with you, no, I don't disagree.
Well then, could we get something done about it?
Do it now?
Okay.
Flat tires too on the road, no rock. They had all kind of flat tires.
I'm sorry, what?
It's about the type rock causing having problems with the tires and stuff.
They kind of got sharp in.
Marie, you got a question? Mr. Barton had a question, Mayor. I think they would go over there, I guess. I think she
wanted to ask the mayor about the problem on Sowell Road. You said it was a state problem and you didn't know what to do or which way to go. But you tell us that we could go to our state representative. Baker, why haven't you went to our state representative?
This isn't something that just came up this week or last month, or this has been an ongoing process dealing with the state, dealing with AlDOT direct, and so far we haven't gotten satisfaction that amounts to anything. So the more pressure they feel, hopefully the quicker they'll act. I'm truly hoping that something this week makes a difference by the head of that department coming to Brewton. I don't know that it will though, but I hope it will. It's just one of those, it's just almost insane to me how long this has gone on. I just don't understand it. And I'm not a contractor, but if that guy was that busy, he never should have taken this job. He should have let us just pave it like we always do.
Okay, that's it, Mayor.
Any other questions?
Mayor.
Going back to the John L. Fisher Community Center networking and all that, are you looking at putting a splash pad up there, or are you just having to decide?
There's a couple of places we're looking, and that's one of them. Any other questions?
Mayor, got just one really small thing. Just remind y'all that the homecoming parade is going to be September the 13th at 2 p.m. Same route as always.
September 13th.
Yeah.